everybody. Welcome back to another live fly tying show with me here, Peter Driver in Piscari Fly. Hello to everybody. Sorry we're a few minutes late. Little bit of IT problems that I just was running a bit behind. And always the way when you're running a bit behind, nothing goes to plan. So we're here anyway. We're live. We're going to be doing some fly tying tonight. Dave Donovan's on there and said, "Thank God I'm on." As Munster are hard watch tonight. Munster are playing a bit of rugby there now at the moment. How you doing, Patrick Burke? Patrick Smith is on there. Robbie Berry. How you doing, Michael Callaghan? Liam Long. Hi to everybody. Darius. Hi, Darius. Jerry Morgan is on there as well. Good evening to yourself, sir. Hi to everybody. Hope everyone had a good week. Great to be back on live again tonight. And we've got a cracking show lined up for you tonight. Again, tonight is Spider Night. Spider Wet Fly Night. How you doing, Graham? Graham is on there over in Sweden. How you doing, Graham? Peter O'Connell, good to have you there. Hi, Brennan Spillane. Hope you enjoyed the flies. Brennan, did you? Aidan Gill's on there. Ken is on. Hope everyone's well. Well done to our winners last week. Miles Kelly from Cork won our flies last week. He was one of our YouTubers and he watched it on Sunday and commented and he went into the draw. And congratulations. How you doing, Billy Boland? Michael McLean, great to see you here as well. Michael, Steve Livingston, how you doing, Steve? Roger, hey Roger, have you all the flies tied for tomorrow, Roger? Tomorrow is the first leg of the AWOL Winter League, and it's going to be tricky, all right. But I think it's going to be a hard one to call. But looking forward to getting out, meeting everyone tomorrow. Best of luck to all the AWOLers tomorrow. There'll be 21 guys competing. And best of luck. I think my money could be Kevin Lafford there now. There's a lot of local knowledge on it. Like, hi, Robert Flattery's on there. Gianluca, how you doing, bud? And Dermot. So, well done to Miles Kelly last week winning the flies. Declan Conlon, of course, won our spot prize for Dave's Trivia, which will be on later on in a little while, folks. So tonight it's Spider Wet Fly Night, okay? So we want to tie some lovely spiders that have really worked well. Ones I haven't tied for you before. We're actually going to go to the river then for our tackle talk segment, and we're going to speak to the one and only Mr. David O'Donovan on the river, and Dave is going to talk us through wet fly fishing on the river while he's wet fly fishing. Brilliant clip, not to be missed. That's coming up along later on, and we have a guest hire on the show tonight as well, folks. Jimmy Tyrrell from Irish Flycraft and Abbey Leaks is going to be on tonight, tying one of the best little wet flies, nymph, fished like a wet fly nymph. And he's going to be tying one of those for us. I've fished this fly for years and it's an absolute must-have. How you doing, Patrick Phelan? So we're going to get down to do some spiders tonight, and I'm going to start off in a lovely little kind of two-toned olive spider here that's worked well for me over the years. By the way, folks, don't forget that all tonight's flies will be given out on Wednesday. I think it is Wednesday. We do it now. Given out on Wednesday. How do you enter? Comment, like, or share the stream. So if you wouldn't mind sharing the stream, it'd be great. Get as many on here as we can. Really appreciate it, and as always, appreciate your continued support. So hit that share button there, folks, and that'll enter you into the live draw to win the flies. And hi to all our YouTubers tomorrow. I just don't have the internet power to stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time, so the show goes onto YouTube tomorrow. Hi Bernard, Sean O'Shea is on there. How you doing, Sean? The show goes on YouTube tomorrow, so if anybody wants to watch back and get any patterns, you'll get them on there tomorrow. Okay, just before I start, if anyone's into their spider fishing, wet fly fishing, there's a really good book, and it's the North Country fly book, okay? Really good wet fly book. A lot of history in there, a lot of great patterns. If you're into your wet fly or you want to get into your spider fishing, this is it. You got to pick this book up, okay? Cook Hills have it, I think. Is it Cook Hills? What's the name of that book company? Cockabundy Books, sorry. Cockabundy Books have that. Oh, yeah, no. Cockabundy Books have that book there, folks. Really worth getting. Some fantastic patterns and some history there and stuff like that. So really good. So what I got here in the vise is a size 14 301. Okay. Now, I tie spiders in all kinds of sizes, hooks. A lot of my spiders do tend to go onto a 303 these days, size 12. Really good hook, 12, 14, 16s. Really good hook. What I did a little bit this year, though, was, real light spider fishing in light riffle water, and I used more wet fly or dry fly hooks than I did those kind of wet fly hooks. And what I've got here is a bit of waxed primrose trade here by Simplerfly, and I'm just going to start off by putting that onto the hook. Now let me gather my bearings. I was in a bit of a panic here getting ready, so I hope I haven't forgotten it, or I hope I haven't left some gear below. I think I'm good to go. So right, so we're going to bring down that trade down the shank of the hook, and we're just going to form a little underbody here. Been fishing this fly now for the last couple of seasons, and good few seasons actually. It was one I fished previously, and kind of stopped fishing it for a while, reinvented it a little bit, and put it back in the box there. Put it back in the box 3 or 4 seasons ago, and really. Hi Christoph, hi Aidan Gale, how you doing? We finished it off. A little bit of an underbody of primrose silk there. Yeah, Aidan Gill has the book as well. He got it off eBay. Yeah, very good book. Really interesting read. Love it. I love that historical kind of information you get to pick up on that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some Hanes Body Quill Olive. Okay, we have this in the shop if anybody hasn't used it or want to pick it up. How you doing, John? John's from Galway. Great to have you on there, John Ainsworth. I see a few people were commenting on last week's show today, thinking it was the live show. So I hope you have found your way to the show, folks. Now, so I'm going to just add in that bit of body quill. So the original tying of this fly, when I was tied originally, many months back ago, I didn't have body quill, and what I was using was the primrose and then a small little bit of cobbler's wax, just to darken the front half of the body. So I want a light butt, but I want to darken. That it was a little bit, it was difficult enough to get the shades just right. So what I started using then was and you can see the way of that little light butt getting into a more darker olive, the more layers I put on as it comes up. Lovely body on a fly. Very good. Hi Dick. Dick is on with us there. Dennis Golan. Hi Dennis. Tom Ankertel. Deirdre Delaney. Great to have you all on. Have you all the tricky fly is tied for tomorrow, Dennis. Little whip finish on that there now again, and that's our body prepared almost. Can be a little bit weak, that body quill, but a little bit of Zappa Gap. Great stuff. Not much now, just a little bit. And just coat that fly there. Now I'd normally do the bodies of a dozen of these or whatever, and then leave them to dry. And don't worry about that little bit of excess, because what I always do is a piece of tissue paper near hand to take off any excess Zappa Gap that might be on it. And it means I can just continue on now with the fly. So you can see we got a lovely taper colour on that body. Hi Kieran Sherlock. Yeah, it's really good stuff, Kieran. It comes in a multitude of colours, and depending on what colour you put underneath, it will depend on the finished colour. But you can see that body. It's a lovely body, lovely, very natural looking, a nice natural progression from that light primrose up into the darker olive near the head. And like most wet flies, spiders, they're very simple. We like to keep them as simple as possible. What I'll do then is I'll put back in my primrose thread. Now, say Dave Donovan's going to be on a little while. We went down and met Dave on the Munster Blackwater a couple of months ago, and we had a bit of a chat with him, and he went through the whole. Dave was one of the best wet fly men I certainly know, and there's plenty of good wet fly men out there. So what I got here is a little bit of hair dubbing, and I'm just going to dub that on very lightly onto the thread, as you can see. What's on tomorrow here? AWOL's on tomorrow, D. Down in Adair Springs, we're heading down to Adair Springs. So I've just really loosely dubbed on a bit of olive hair dubbing there, and that's exactly the look I'm looking for there. That nice scraggly look. Okay, got a little bit of a Greenwell's hen here. Now it's kind of more of a henny cock, but it's perfect for this. Perfect for this pattern. You can see it there. Just going to select. I like kind of a long enough hackle on this particular spider actually. John Ford, how you doing, John Ford? Good to have you on with us there. John Ford is watching. Now, select off my. It's a very light kind of Greenwells, but select off my hackle and tie it in there as well. My modern day river fishing, Dalty O'Donnell's on there. How you doing, Dalty? Modern day river fishing techniques like nymphing and dry dropper and all that. The wet fly does tend to get a little bit lost, especially with competition anglers and stuff. But trust me, folks, if anybody's out there aspiring to be a competition angler, you need to be able to wet fly as good as your dry fly and as good as your nymph, because there is plenty of days in the season, the wet flies will outfish them all. It's a lethal method of fishing, a lethal method to find fish, I find. If you're looking, especially in September, just holding those hackles back a bit. Alan Lawless is on there. How you doing, Alan? If you're looking to find pods of fish, spiders, wet fly fishing, you'll find them far quicker than you will if you're throwing dries or nymphs and stuff like that. A little bit of a whip finish up there at the head. And of course, wet flies are not just for river fishing. Very effective on lakes, can be very effective in stocked venues. I tell you wouldn't go too far wrong tomorrow, fishing a couple of little spiders maybe. How you doing, Chris? Chris Oliver's on there with the snake. Great to have you on, Chris. Great to have somebody back on. I hope everyone had a really good week. We had a lovely week here. Not too busy. Managed a bit of a night out last night in Gorey with the lovely wife. And very nice now. A nice dinner and a few pints. It was lovely. It's a little bit of zap just up there in the head. And there you have it, folks. Billy Boland was on Edge yesterday. I was working yesterday, Billy. Don't tell everyone here now, but you can tell me, Billy. Send me a message there. I know. Look, tomorrow will be interesting. It's going to be tricky fishing, but it will be. Certainly, I'll just get that centered up a little bit. It'll be certainly interesting day tomorrow. So great to meet up with everybody and have a bit of a chat and a crack. But there we go, folks. Now, nameless fly, two-tone. I call it a two-tone spider. A very good spider pattern. Works right throughout the season. That lovely tapered body when that's wet. That little bit of dubbing supports that hackle. And really, really helps that work well in the water. Thanks a million, Mikey Foley. Mikey Foley's on there. Really lovely little spider pattern. Very, very simple. Like most really good effective spider patterns. You can overdress it and it's who do you call it? How you doing, Graham? The head wasn't too bad this morning, Graham. No, it wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. A couple of thanks, Liam. Thanks, Kieran. Wasn't too bad. A couple of solvines helped a bit, all right. But no, I came around rightly now after. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely lovely fly. Really, really is a good simple. That body I say is great. And I tell you, dry fly. And maybe during some of our dry fly months in December, if someone wouldn't mind reminding me, I'll take an out of it. But I'll do the two-toned olive dry that I do with that same body. It's a lovely, lovely natural body with that kind of different different colours and the way it blends in there going down along. So there we have it, folks. That's our first spider for tonight. Good point, Robbie. Going after Peter, I'll scare them all right. Mightn't get many, but I'll scare them tomorrow. I tell you, I start fishing the dry fly hooks a bit more this season, and even last season as well. That finer wire, especially when I'm fishing in real light riffly water, and I'm just making my way down. Thanks, John. Making my way down along the riffles and just flicking that little spider down along. Just short little casts, not leaving it there for long. Looking for trout that are just moving around and feeding a little bit. And I just found that the light wire hook was just far more effective there for hookups. It's missing the bead. Very good, Luca. Yeah, bead on that now would be a lovely little spider too. But yeah, so I just found that I was getting better hookups with the fine wire hook. Good man, Dennis. So yeah, it's just a confidence thing probably, but yeah, I just like it, and I like that finer wire hook. I say I use the 303s a bit as well, but those 301s and 14s, 16s, 18s, even down to size 20s, I found to be brilliant last year. So just making my way down along little skinny riffles and just flicking those little wet flies, 2 little wet flies into the little pockets and stuff, and just pulling them straight out through it. It's really fast fishing, but it was super effective for me this summer. Really, really was effective. I might put a little beaded spider on the front of it, and I'm going to tie a little beaded spider now. That's going into the box there for whoever's going to win these flies. But I'm going to tie a little beaded spider now that was part of that cast that would have been on the point, and then there would have been an unweighted spider coming in behind it, and they were really, really effective for me this year. So just bear with me 1 second there now, folks. I'll just make a little bit of room here now and get another fly ready. Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday night. Thank you everyone for watching. So going to go again with the 14 on this one. Find him here. Hey Bessie, welcome on there. Bessie and Michael are on. Bessie and Michael Hayes. We're on spider night, wet fly night tonight, folks. So we have a guest Tyre on with us as well tonight, folks. We have a guest Tyre on with us as well. Jimmy Tyrrell from Irish Flycraft is going to be tying probably one of the best patterns I've ever used. I've been using it for years. Jimmy gave it to me. I know Jimmy a long time. He's up there in Abbey Leaks, and Jimmy's also an APGI qualified fly tying instructor, and he has a little shop there called Irish Flycraft. Lovely little shop, and very good fly there. And Jimmy's on sharing one of his river patterns. It was a pattern that I've been using for years. Yeah, it's absolutely true, Kieran. Pattern I've been using for years, and I asked him to come down and do a video for us and show us the tie-in. So that's coming along there in a little while. But here is a lovely spider. Now this is one of my favourites. I love fishing this one. So I got a 2mm gold tungsten bead on that size 14301. Are you having a clue tonight? What is a clue? There is there is a prize up tonight, folks. Dave will be on there asking the question, so watch out for it at some stage. We're going to tie this fly here now, and then we're actually going to join Dave on the river. Yeah, I think it's 9:30 because I'm not sure. Alan, what time does the competition start tomorrow at? I was actually asking Mark the same. So what I'm putting here is a little tail of Tommy Fly UV Reflective number 14, my favourite colour. 4 strands, just doubling it over, looping it back. Trim off for a little bit of waste. Now I tend, when I'm doing a tail on the likes of this, I tend to leave it long. Leave it long till the fly's finished, because if I cut it now, a chance I probably cut that tail a bit short. So I like to see the finished fly first, and once the fly is finished, well then I'll actually trim that tail to exactly what I want. So a little bit of copper wire, full length of the body, of course, when you're tying it in there, folks, so we don't have any steps or bumps along the way. A little bit of uni mylar size 14, and we're going to tie a gold body on this one. Dave is on there now. Brass and glass beads are also very effective. Tungsten can be a bit heavy at times. Brilliant, yeah. Great point, Dave. And Alan, the competition starts at 9:30 tomorrow, guys. Fishing for 9:30, so sure we'll see us all there a little bit before that, I suppose. It's up an hour rather too. Silver side out because we want the gold side. Really good point by Dave there. Using glass beads. Yeah, glass beads are very, very good, all right. I do some nymphs with glass beads as well, and I found them really good again during that light summertime fishing. Take my gold body now and make just show you the bead there. You can stop it. The weather's to be decent enough as well tomorrow, so I'll give you a full report next week on how tomorrow goes. Just rib that up then with your copper wire. Now, hackles for this one, okay? Little light brown hackle in there first. So you're going to have a double hackle on this one, folks, all right? This is a super fly in any time of the year. So they work really well in that little riffly fishing during the summer months, but in springtime as well, it was a cracker. That little bright tail is a real target point, for those fish. And no, God, I thought I forgot me me hackle pliers. It's just 1.5 or 2 turns there at the back of that bead. Trap it off. Just trying to get in there now without. Come on. There we go. Just 1 or 2 turns in there. You don't need that many. Okay. Now our shoulder hackle, then another hackle on that one. We're going to use a bit of partridge skin here from all the way from Italy. They're lovely skins. 54 Dean Street do these, and we have them in the shop, and they're absolutely, there's a lot of tying on them. Lovely skin. Take out our, make sure it's the right size that I want. Yeah. Now I might go a little bit smaller actually. Just picking out the right size feather here, folks. Yeah, that one's nice. Very fine feather. Can be a bit frustrating at times to work with because it's so fine. It can tend to break a little bit, so we have to just be a little bit careful. I actually want to select another one. How's Munster getting on, Robbie? Robbie Phelan's on with us there as well, folks. Good to have you on, Rob, from Kilmallock in County Limerick. Down there with Mikey Foley. How's Munster getting on? This one looks a little bit better. Now, going to tie that in there between the bead and our brown hackle. 1 or 2 turns just to secure that in. Leinster had a good win there earlier on. Great, Jamie. Well, you're going to love Dave's segment, which is coming up very soon now, folks. Dave Donovan said we caught up with him on the river in Cork, down on his own Munster Blackwater, down Jason Corcoran's there, and we did a little bit of wet fly fishing with him. So Dave is going to give us the full run through there of wet fly. So again, we just want one turn really. I'm just going to use my needle there now just to make sure I'm not trapping down any of those important. I just want one turn on the front of that. I'm just teasing out all those, make sure all those long hackles are out. And with your thread, wiggle it through. Get it in there good and strong. 10-6. That broke, but I didn't get it all, so. There we go. Nick that one away. Oh, never back. Another turn or two there. And that is a beautiful, beautiful spider. Very, very effective. I'd even tie it, you know, the variations you can do with spiders is endless. Like, I tied that with a hot little green chartreuse tag as well. Then when the fly is tied, I'm ready then to trim my tail exactly to the length I want it. And I kind of go by the longest kind of hackers that are coming back. I'm trimming right there. And that is an absolute belter, folks. That thing has caught me so many fish over the years. An absolute great little wet fly. Very good. You know, is it a nymph? Yeah, Pascal can be very good. Didn't hear how Liverpool did today, Dennis. I don't follow the soccer a whole lot. How did United get on today? Any United fans there? I don't think it was good news anyway, was it? But there we go. That's another lovely little spider pattern. One that definitely worth having in the box for next year. And it's going to be, you know, it's going to be one of those flies that you're going to have for a long time and catch a lot of fish with. So yeah, really, really good. You can do plenty of variations there on that. You know, you can tie it with without a tail. You can tie it with different color tails and stuff. I just find that combination of the hackle there very good. Why I like to put the brown hackle in under the partridge on that one is because it supports that partridge, because they lost 4-2, did they? My dad wouldn't be too happy about that. So no, he wasn't ringing me this evening. But the brown hackle kind of supports. All right, Michael. The brown hackle supports that partridge when it gets wet. That it just keeps it off the hook at the body of the hook, the body of the fly a little bit, and makes it work that a little bit better. That's what I find anyway. So it's a good little thing to do. Yeah, very, very effective. Right, folks, I am going to leave you in the very capable hands of Mr. David O'Donovan. I said we went down earlier on in the year and met with Dave. Dave was countless time Irish international. You know, he has a European bronze medal. How you doing, Stephen? European bronze medal, and is renowned one of the best spider fly fishers, wet fly fishermen in the country. So we went down to Cork, caught up with Dave, and he gave us a run through about spider fishing. So enjoy it, folks. I'll be back in a few minutes with some more great patterns. And don't forget, we got Jimmy Tyrrell coming up. Dave is going to be putting up his question. And don't forget to hit that share button if you haven't hit it already to be in the pot to win a tub of flies early in next week. So enjoy, Dave, and I'll see you all in a few minutes. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're enjoying this evening's show. So it's all about being about wet flies tonight. And for Tackle Talk, we've come down here to County Cork onto the Blackwater River to meet wet fly guru several times over, multiple times over, Irish international, bronze gold medalist in the Europeans, Mr. David O'Donovan. He's here on the Blackwater doing a bit of wet fly fishing. And if you want to learn from the horse's mouth, well then when it comes to wet fly, there's no one better to talk to. So let's head to the river and go meet Dave. And let's get the inside story to wet fly fishing. How's it going?
Good driver.
How are you keeping?
Not so bad, what do?
Lovely day for it.
Good day, yeah.
Yeah, how's Trick?
Nice and overcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I've seen you in a while.
I know, been a while. You busy man?
Yeah. I did the trip to Wales, yeah, myself. Yeah.
Oh, good, nice.
Yeah, good.
Sport?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, great fish.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Myself and Mark and Robbie.
Right.
Did it after for 2-3 days and we great fish. Yeah.
Back into the season, Dave. Last week of the season, hard to believe, isn't it?
I know, it was a fast season. It went over quick, you know, the COVID and everything, put a kind of a blanket on it, like they'd stopped it, but no rain. That was the highlight of the year. The rivers were so low. Yeah. Everything was bad, you know, the fishing was just so poor. Algae in the water, we even had some dead fish on the black water, lack of oxygen. But look, next year's another year, we'll get over this one now. We said this the end of the year now, we might get another trout there along there, we'll see.
And what kind of, this time of the season, what kind of, I know the back end season, trout tend to move out of those summer lies and that real fast, ripply water, move into some more glides and tend to reserve the energy and build up the fat reserves for winter months.
Yeah, they're starting to shoal up a little bit as well. They're moving upstream, they're waiting for rain, they're all congregating together on the back end of the flats and stuff like that. But it's still tough, it's very tough. The trout they're not, it's almost as if they're unhealthy at the minute, you know, they're not putting on the food.
Of course.
Yeah, so, but look, we'll try our best. We're going to give it a couple of casts.
Two wet flies.
Wet flies.
Good old wet flies back into the season, you can't beat it.
Look again. You never know what you're going to hook. You could hook a good trout now that's moving up the system. You could hook a couple of exceptional trout.
And of course, wet flies in say tough conditions like this, you can cover an awful lot of water.
Exactly. Yeah. And
find
it's
those
overcast.
fish.
You couldn't ask so better. Maybe I'd rather a little bit more wind, but and the play the cards were dealt.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, I'll get out of your way. Let's tackle up. And brilliant. Let's see how we get on.
All right, good.
So what kind of a rod are you on there today, Dave?
Yeah, Pete, my old trusty XP 5-weight. It's a 10-foot 5-weight. It's just my favourite rod. I've been using that rod since the day I bought it. You can use it for just, I've taken it literally all over the world. It's a great rod for streamer fishing, wet fly fishing, dry fly fishing, not so much nymphing, but you have to.
I understand the 5-weight part, but the 10-foot, is there any kind of an advantage? You see a lot of people using 9-foots and stuff like that for wet fly and things. Is there any particular advantage do you see for the 10-foot?
Yeah, well, today I'm fishing the Blackwater. It's a pretty big river. You could meet salmon now and again. So, no, a 10-foot to me nowadays. I mean, traditionally 9-foots, 9'6" they're fished around the world in smaller streams. But I think, and plus I use it on the lake. It's just a great all-round. A 10-foot is a good universal rod. So that's right. That's my choice.
Aye.
So
what line? What reel and line then do you stick on it, Dave?
sedge reel. It's just a large arbor reel. There's nothing too fancy about the reel. It gets the job done. Intermediate line, my favourite Kelly Green. Fish after rising there. But again, from the start of the season, I tend to go over to Kelly Green. As the season goes on,
Is that scientific anglers?
Scientific angler, yeah, I think they're the only ones kind of doing him now.
What sort of a sink rate is on that Kelly Green?
I'm not sure. I think it's. You caught me in that one, oh, ask me that one.
I think it's a 1.5. I think it's a 1.5.
I was going to say a 1.7. I thought
Could be. Yeah.
Start again in that one.
Yeah.
Don't have to take good shit.
And when you come down into the business end of things, Dave, are you tapering it down from the fly line, or what way have you set? Or are you setting up that?
Yeah, I have a nail knot here, regular nail knot in the end of my line, approximately 4 feet of just a slightly tapered. It's a what you call them again, the Maxima taper.
Okay, yeah.
It's about 4 feet, perfection up in the end, and then I go with my 4 foot or my 4 pound Maxima.
4 pound Maxima.
Yeah, or Brennan, but I use Maxima. Again, you don't have to go too fine on tippet when you're wet fly fishing.
Right.
You're basically streamer fishing with small flies.
Okay.
So, yeah. So look, I'll get cracking on my tying up the cast.
Make up a caster and stick on a few flies.
Okay.
So many flies do you normally fish with, Dave?
3.
3 flies.
Very seldom. I go sometimes 2, but mostly 3.
What sort of distance are you putting between your droppers there?
Yeah, from the top of the line, just talk you through that there. From the top of the line to my first fly, it's practically 6 feet, 5-6 feet. And blue.
Iron blue.
Yeah. So, and then my dropper's going to be here. I'll just tie a dropper here. Literally, I just cut off maybe 6 inches of mono. Put it next to the other one. Loop it. 1, 2, 3. And pull. That's my drop.
Good stuff. Nice and simple there, folks.
So yeah, so now the business end, and again, tail fly. I like to go with something. Secrets around here. These are my spider patterns, mostly tops. So, and I keep my bigger ones kind of in the compartments here. But today I'm going to go with a Greenwells. Focus. Greenwell spider. On the point.
The water's a bit heavier now, Dave. Would you put up a beaded wet fly?
Yeah. If it was windy and if it was in the flats, I'd definitely go with a little 2mm bead. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
If you were to pick 3 top wet flies for anybody that's starting out the wet fly tying this winter, what would be the 3 patterns that you shouldn't be on a river without?
Greenwells.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any of the partridges family. Lemon partridge, gold partridge, orange partridge, any of the partridge family.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you got your... I do vary an awful lot my top dropper.
Okay.
Because they could be winged, they could be spidered, they could be sedges, cockabundi type thing. It depends on the conditions. If there's heavy water, then I go with a winged fly.
Okay.
A winged olive, or I'd never be without a Wickham's Fancy, something bulky, something big. You should just know there's a nice little hatch guy on there now, but yeah, they'd probably be my Greenwells, the partridges, black and silvers. You can't go wrong with the black and silver. Sedges.
An uncle of mine always told me that as soon as the shower rain comes, take off the 3 flies and put up 3 black and silvers.
Oh, another great fly here in the black water is an orange and black. Just a very onion bag orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, great fly.
So what typically, Dave, kind of water are you focusing on here this time of the year now, swinging a few wets?
Yeah, I'm looking for a little bit more choppy water because I said earlier on the oxygen isn't really in the water on the flats, so here now we're a little bit more choppier. I'm hoping the trout is starting to move up into the runs, so we're just casting. Oh, there's a fish.
Still a fish.
Yeah, another salmon cow around here. Yeah, another good thing to learn when you're wet fly fishing is over your left shoulder cast.
I see you doing that. Is there some reason for? Is that, well, obviously, if you've got restrictions behind you.
Restrictions, yeah. Well, little cameras and trees, but yeah, it does help to be able to know how to fish over your left shoulder. Even in a boat, it's second nature to wet fly fishing.
Absolutely, it's a great craft to have. Yeah, be able to.
You have to know. I mean, it's no different. It's just
yeah.
you know, practice it.
And talking about casting, Dave, the angle of the cast for wet fly fishing. Typically, you're obviously standing broadside downriver, casting there at about sort of 11 o'clock. Are you 10, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, well, as much as you can straight across the river.
Okay.
Just let it swing down for the first couple of feet. I straighten my line. I'll just do that again. So I cast out, pull in the first foot or two, and then I let it drift down as naturally as possible. Just keep in control of the line.
So on impact, when the flies impact the water, you do nothing. You don't throw them in, or
I don't tend to min too much.
Okay.
If I was streamer fishing, yes. So when I'm wet fly fishing, I don't.
Just let everything happen naturally.
Yeah, it depends on the speed of the water. I mean,
Okay.
if the water's coming down at a natural pace, that's fine. Or if there's no fast water in the middle. But if you're fishing where it's slack water on the far side of the fast pull, then you have to min it. But the water is very evenly flowing across the whole river section. So, you know.
Another little welcome trout. Yeah, there's a bit more size to him, alright? Just show him up there.
Orange and black.
Lovely little blackwater brown trout there, folks. Very welcome indeed, and a black and orange spider.
Yeah, and again, I'm using 4 pounds.
Another one on there, Dave.
Ah, yeah. They're orange and black, you like it today?
So when you've made your cast across the river, Dave, and you obviously just let it swing naturally with the current directly downstream, would you retrieve then, or do you leave it on the dangle? Do you flick the tip of the rod to get it articulate the fly? What kind of stuff? As I say, like, you know, you're picking up a couple of trout there on just, you know, the tail end of your cast. Are you doing anything specifically there, or?
No, it's as natural as possible.
Okay.
I don't. You see some guys there, they're jumping the top of the fly. The springtime maybe. The fly life has established itself now, so everything that's coming down is natural. In the springtime, I would maybe give a little bit more top of the rod movement, let it swing in closer, in under my own bank. Anything goes really. There's no rights and wrongs. As long as the flies are in the water, that's the most important thing, and that they're going down as natural as possible. If you want to incorporate a little bit of movement into the fly, that's good too, but I wouldn't do it all the time. I do it the natural way first.
Okay.
If you don't take that, then maybe a little bit of movement. I know some people really put a lot of movement into the top of the rod. Maybe when it gets to the bottom of the swing, but definitely as when it first hits the water, let that go down as naturally as possible. It's going to
And you're just stripping in there just to keep in contact with the flies.
just keep in control of the fly. I'm not going fast.
Yeah.
You know, you're not in the lake where you're trying to keep up with a boat or the wind. That water is moving the flies down. So keep them going and keep moving. I'm constantly taking a step. Cover the water the whole time. And you get to the end of the beast, you go back up, fish it back down again. The second run can often be better than the first run, because you know where you know you're going to meet a lot of fish wet fly fishing. But if you know that they're there and you're after meeting them, when you go back up the second time, you tend to concentrate that little bit better the next time. You know the fish are on, they're on the surface. There's another one. But you know, keep moving. Couple of steps, take a couple of casts. Couple of steps, take a couple of casts.
And as you were saying, and I noticed from experience as well, and a lot of our viewers know, you're going to meet a lot of fish on wet fly fishing.
Yeah.
You're going to meet a lot of fish, as we can see already.
Small.
The conversion rate is not that high in comparison to the likes of nymphing or dry dropper maybe. Is there anything that you've learned in your experience or over your decades of wet fly fishing? Is there anything there that'll help to hook those fish, or is it just a game that you're playing and that's nature of the game?
Some days they stay on, some days they don't.
Yeah.
Some people have hook preference, the type of hook, larger gapes.
What's your preferred hook for it, Dave?
I use Duhakus. I like Duhakus. You know, everyone's using barbless now, so you're going to lose. You lose them in everything. It's just the fish come up. You know what we call, they come up short. They come up and they nip it. They're playing with it. The water's crystal clear. They're not that hungry, so they're just nipping at it and playing with it. Especially the little guys, they're just playing with the fly more than anything. I mean, you mightn't see it there, but I'm getting little knocks and little takes under the water. But again,
And your preferred hook size on average?
yeah, you don't
14s, 12s?
I'm using a 14 there now, but a 14 is fine. You don't have to go microscopic stuff. You really, really don't. I mean, if trout want it, they'll put it into their mouth, and you'll be surprised. You get big fish with small flies, yes, but you will get a lot of small fish with big flies.
Okay.
So if you're looking for numbers, and you know, I'm having sport there now, they're not very big, but I'm not, and I'm using 4 pound maxima, so I'm not getting tangled. It's comfortable fishing. It's an enjoyable day. But as I say, keep moving, keep walking. The more ground you cover, the more fish you'll meet.
So is wet fly something, Dave, you use all year round, right from March right through to September?
Yeah, basically I would, but again, when the evening fishing comes on, we all get out our box of sedges. We start flying sedges.
Yeah.
And we do our sedge season. And what I tend to do when I'm fishing sedges, I don't have them on now, but you know, when you're standing in the river and there's fish rising around you, you know, it could be 10 o'clock at night, just getting dusk. I find, you know, you asked me earlier on about do I lose a lot of fish, you meet a lot of fish, but if you shorten everything up,
Okay.
tighten everything up, like when I'm fishing with my sedges, I literally have only 10 feet of line coming out of my rod, and I'm just shot casting.
Just wet fly, just
Yeah,
basically.
holding my sedges underwater, maybe even a little bit of a skeet, but
Yeah.
again, shot casting, just and hold them on like that, and the minute you see them, strike. And
Lift straight
you
into
will
that fish.
spin the rod, and you very seldom lose them if you're fishing shot. Again, you will meet fish long lining, but you probably lose more. But you know, shot casts probably will connect that little bit better. And that's goes when fish are moving, when they're rising at all, shorten everything up, cover them. Don't be tempted to try and catch the one at the far side all the time, like I do sometimes. But it does cover the water. Again, if we're not, I can't emphasize that enough. You have to cover the water and keep on the move.
So for someone starting out or looking to get that little bit more advanced at their wet fly fishing, Dave, what would be a couple of simple but top tips that?
Yeah, get to know the flow of the water. Make sure you know that it's a good place for fishing. You know, don't go to a place that you know, like if it's a pure sheet of rock on the bottom and fly life it doesn't generate there. You need to go to a place where fly life is productive. We've got trees overhead, good foliage on the riverbank. There's nice gravel on the bottom, ideal for fly life. You know, whereas some parts, especially the black water, you get sheets of rock.
Okay.
And it's just void of fish. You know, they get from A to B, but it's not home territory for those fish. So go to a good spot. You know, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
absolutely.
Cover the water. I can't emphasize that enough. As I said, keep on the move, keep walking, and other than that, you know, get to know the water. You know, to go fishing, it's like I often come down to the river, and I wouldn't even bring the rod, but you know, I feel as if I'm still fishing or learning about fishing when I just walk in the river or bring the dog out for a walk. But you know, like if you want to get advanced at fishing, you have to understand the water. You have to get into the water, know the currents. It's just something you can't teach. You have to just be on the water all the time.
Good stuff. Of course, there's always one thing for sure in this game, folks, you can be certain of. There's no gimmies in fly fishing. Anyway, Dave, look, it's been absolutely fantastic to catch up. It's been long overdue over the last couple of weeks, and really appreciate you giving us our little bit of your time, especially with time being so short towards the end of the season. I know you have plans to spend the day on the river now and try and pick up some fish. So look, brilliant. Thanks a million again. Really appreciate your time, Dave, and sharing your expertise. And look, we'll catch up soon.
Bye, Pete. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Dave. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
So there we have it, folks. Another great little demonstration there today by Dave Donovan. Hope he's all really enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. And it's always great to go to speak to someone that's in the game, in the know-how, and Dave is certainly one of those. You know, his experience speaks for itself, and yeah, fantastic, lovely way to fly fish. Possibly a way that, you know, certainly me personally has neglected a bit over the years. You know, Euro nymph and dry dropper is so prolific, and you know, you tend to forget about those spiders and wet flies and that style of fishing. It is lovely way to fish, and can be really productive. So definitely me for one are going to increase my amount of wet fly fishing next season and get back into it. So I'm going to go now, go up and grab my gear, I'm going to go back down and join Dave for a couple of hours, and I'm going to hand you guys back to the other Peter Driver in studio and enjoy the rest of the night. So thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed that. Tight lines from the Blackwater. So there we have it, folks. That was David O'Donovan on the River Blackwater. Jason Corcoran kindly let us use his beautiful beat there. I see a few people commenting on it. It is an absolute magnificent beat for trout fishing and salmon fishing indeed. Cable Island. Jason runs a great show down there. B&B this year as well, being busy. Thanks a million, Jason. We managed to get down there a few times this year actually, because we were doing master classes for Jason down there, and we do regular master classes down there with some great weekends. He's Sorka Wells on there as well. We had some great weekends down there this year, and there's going to be lots more master classes and different events happening there next year. So make sure you keep an eye on all our Facebook pages for them coming up in the new year. Please God, it was great to do them last year. But thanks a million, Dave. Brilliant top angler, great friend. Brilliant to be able to, reach out to these guys and ask them for some good solid information, and top angler. So great stuff. Glad you all enjoyed it. Michael, Niall, Robbie Berry, yeah, great, thanks, brilliant. Glad you all enjoyed it. So I hope everyone's enjoying the evening in general. I got two more flies to tell you. I'm going to do a small little spider here now. That is I always have in the box. It's one of those constant fish catchers. Coming up then, we got Jimmy Tyrrell doing this fantastic wet fly nymph. And then to finish off the evening, I'm going to do a sedge pupae. Now, a wet fly sedge pupae, in my experience, has been always a hard one to get a cracker. This one I was given to me, tied for me many years ago by a man who I rang and asked would he be interested in tying it himself. He wasn't. He gave me permission to tie it for you guys. Beautiful pattern. Really is a fantastic wet fly for sedge time. And he wished to remain anonymous. So you know who you are. And if you're watching tonight, I hope I do your fly justice in a little way. So that one's coming up last. So stay tuned for that one. We're going to do a very quick, simple little spider pattern here now that I found to be a right fish catcher over the years. And one I don't be without. Very simple. Couldn't be any more simpler. This is size 12. I find this fly most effective in size 16, probably 14 to 16, but I'm just doing it on a 12 here, a 12-303 hook, because of it's easier to see basically for you guys. Yeah, absolutely, Joseph. Yeah. Brilliant, yeah. Mike or Betty and Michael, yeah, it'd be great to have you guys down on the Norwest next year. A little bit of Tommy Fly. You can use a little bit of this is Tommy Fly number 31. You can use a little bit of Glow Bright here as well, but I find the Glow Bright to be a bit heavy. And we're just going to tie a little hot spot there. In behind that. Yeah, wet fly is a very, very, it's a nice way to fish. It is a really nice way to fish, just wet fly fishing. A little bit of a hot spot there. Switch back to your black thread then. And you can I tie this little spider. I actually use this on the still waters, can be very effective too. It might even get a swim tomorrow. You can tie with several different hot spots in there behind the bead. Or not behind the bead, sorry, should I say. That'll be under the hackle. Little black hen hackle there now. Don't forget, this video will be up on YouTube tomorrow. For anybody that wants to go back on and watch Dave again or see any of the patterns. We will be doing, broke away. We will be doing our draw for the flies from tonight on Wednesday as usual. So anyone that comments, likes or shares the stream will be entered into that draw. And someone will win the flies. Miles Kelly last week won them from Cork. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube tomorrow, Scott. Get ready for the question, Dave says, guys. Dave is coming up with his trivia question. This week we got a nice pair of Piscari fishing gloves. and a Pescari sticker to give away for those. How you doing, Ernie? Great to have you on from Canada. Great to see so many international people on with us here. We appreciate everyone logging on to us here on a Saturday night or Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, whatever time it is in your area. We're on here live every Saturday night at 8:30. It goes out on YouTube then tomorrow. And we're right here till St. Patrick's weekend, right till the season starts. We're going to be here tying flies every week, taking different agendas every week, looking at different aspects, talking to experts that know their stuff and share their information with us. And yeah, we got some absolutely amazing shows lined up for some of them I'm really excited about for the next couple of months. So stick with us here every Saturday night, folks. And as always, if you need any fly tying or fly fishing gear, check out the website www.scaryfly.com, or if you're in the area, drop in to say hello and have a cup of tea. Always nice to have someone in to chat. So there we go. Very simple little black spider with a little chartreuse. It is Mark Williams, absolutely, yeah. How you doing, Mark from Wales there, the Welsh T? We'll be over there soon. Norman, how you doing? Norman Wells from the Bahamas. God, I'd say that's probably the furthest person we have. Anybody else further away than the Bahamas? What's the weather like there, Norman? I bet it's not cold and wet and dark. Great to have you on with us, Norman. Delighted to have you on from the Bahamas. Fantastic. Lots of good fishing out there. So there we go, folks. Another lovely little spider pattern. Very simple, but yes, exactly, Ernie. Great point. Less is more when it comes to tying wet flies sometimes. Really simple little patterns, and they're so super effective. Thanks, Sarah Sorka. So yeah, really simple little pattern there, and yeah, a real good little fish catcher. Any time of the year, it's always one worth having up. Very good question. Dave Donovan wants to know, what material does he use on his orange and black spider? Great question. I know the answer. And a lot of other people say, thanks, Jason. Jason's on there. Jason's on there. Graham Lanning, Kieran Sherlock from Cavan. Jason was a great host this year to us, folks. We got some great Dark and Raining. Very good. Bit like here, so Norman. We got some great master classes coming up there again next year. Single days, double days. Make sure you check them out. They'll be up on the website after Christmas, the dates and stuff like that. So there we have it. There's another one for you, folks. I still have that sedge pupae coming after our next guest, who is Mr. Jimmy Tyrrell from Irish Flightcraft in Abbey Leaks. Fantastic fly tire. Tied this little wet fly nymph for me many years ago, and absolutely, I have rows of them. I don't even bother tying them because, it's one of those flies where the person that ties themselves, just the way he does it. Really worth a watch. Jimmy kindly came down here a couple of weeks ago and shot the video for this little fly. So I'm going to put Jimmy on to his there now. Enjoy this one. We're going to come back then and do the sedge pupae before we finish up. So hang around for that one, folks, and enjoy Mr. Jimmy Tyrrell from Irish Flightcraft.
Hi, my name's Jimmy Tyrrell. I'm going to show you a pretty good pattern that we use a lot of. A little olive nymph. It's a favourite pattern of mine. It works really well, and you can tie this in various colours to suit. I prefer this olive colour for the River Nore around here. It works really well. So, and there isn't too much about this fly. It's basically cock pheasant tail, bit of dyed rabbit, green, olive, natural. Again, various colours to suit the occasion. You can weight this as well by just putting a bit of lead under the thorax and build over it. So it's a pretty good pattern that I use a lot of nearly right through the season if I'm wet fly fishing. So I'll show you how to do this now. What I'm going to use is, this is a size 12 Camasan B175. Brown tying thread. So you just start below the hook and work your way back, just down roughly between the barb and the point on the hook. So next we just tie in a strand of, I like copper wire on this because it seems to work well, and when it gets wet it shows through a lot. So just a strand of copper going up and then back down, and now you can come down to the bend. So what I'm going to use now is, like I said, bit of olive. You can use olive hair for rabbit, whatever. This seal's fur works pretty well, but again I prefer this rabbit dyed olive. So we just dub this on. Again, when you're dubbing this on, just put it to a point, and always remember that you can add to it, but it's very hard to take away from it. So when you get it, just start it. Now start this on the bend, working your way forward, just in touching turns. Now again, you can add a little bit to it. Just keep adding, and put this into a nice kind of oval so that it's tapered from the tail back, or the bend of the hook rather. Add a little bit more, building it up as you're going, and just stop about 2/3 up. Coming in front, just push it up so that it's there. Coming in front. Now I'm going to make a rib 4 turns, and always remember to go the opposite way to what you've dubbed. So I dubbed it over that way, so I'm going to bring the rib back over the opposite way. Again, you can just jiggle that off, make sure the body's nice and tapered. I'll come back into there. Now I'm going to put in some pheasant tail. This is just for the legs and for the wing case. So again, you don't have to count the strands. If you've got a dozen strands in there, it's plenty. If you've got 13 or 14, it's not that much of a difference. So what we do now is we'll tie in this on top of the hook. What I like to do is the length of the wing case, probably half the length of the body over past the hook. So when you start doing this fly, you'll get used to the distance, and you can build it up. So on top, you dress it like so, come back in with this hand, catch it in over the top, and then that's secured. You can cut these fibres away, tidy them up, coming back, now we're going to build up the thorax again. Like I said before, into a point. It's easier to add than take away, if you could think of that. Coming back onto that, just another pinch, because it is very hard to take dubbing off if you've too much on it, when it's unnecessary. So you just build up a nice little thorax in that shape. Pull the wing case over the top like so. So over the top, in place, this hand over, and just pinch and loop, or we'll get it in here. So you can see there's your legs. What we'll do now is we'll divide these. Again, it's not, you don't have to count them individually, it's just divide them like so. what I like to do is push these down, stroke them down. Once I'm happy with that, come over to the front, keeping away from the eye. Once you can see that, if you want to push them down another little bit, you can with your thumbnail and just secure. Then it's basically a whip finish. You can cut this off. I like to add a small bit of varnish onto the thread to secure it. There, that's nice and secure. And there's a little river olive nymph. Like I say, it's fairly standard. You can tie this in a lot of different sizes. 12s, 14s would be my preference, depending on the time of the year and the water levels, of course. But 14s and 12s would be the norm for this fly.
There we have, folks, a lovely little simple pattern by Mr. Jimmy Tyrrell. I've been fishing that fly, wet fly style, fishing that little nymph 15 years, maybe longer, 20 years I'd say even, probably, Jimmy. Gave it to me when I was in the early 20s, and that thing fished in April, May, down across riffles and you know, good wet fly water for feeding trout. I tell you, they will not pass it up. That thing is, I can't even count how many. I wouldn't even have a clue how many fish it catch, but absolutely fantastic flyer, fantastic fly tyer, Mr. Jimmy Tyrrell, and an absolute gentleman. So thanks a million for that, Jimmy, and thanks for sharing. Jimmy's got some other flies coming up for us in a couple of shows times as well, guys, so make sure you check those out, and I hope you all enjoyed that. Right, we're going to finish up quickly now with this wet fly pattern, sedge pupae. I say a gentleman tied this for me a long time ago. I actually met him on a river, and he was catching fish when I wasn't, and it was evening rise, before an evening rise, and he was wet fly fishing and getting a lot of fish, and I was getting nothing. As usual, you go up and you ask, and you know, if he says no, he says no, but he was kind enough to give me a fly, and geez, it was fantastic. And I've been, you know, fishing with it ever since, and getting a lot of fish on it, and it's great. Great to have a wet fly that fishes well during the summer evening rises, or even as Dave was mentioning, when the water or when the darkness comes, and thanks to Dale McInerney's on when it's there from Belfast. How's all the boys at Dale? So this was a pattern that was shared with me. I asked a man last week, or it was the week before, would he like to come on and tie it for us? And he said no, it just wasn't his thing. And he said, but he gave me permission to tie it for you all to share the pattern, and I was delighted that I rated it so highly, and he still remains me now. So if you're watching anyway, you know who you are, and this is your little sedge pupae. So we got a size 14 hook. Can we tie it on two different types of hooks, folks? I do like it on a straight shank hook. It's also tied on a curved hook, a tiny little pearl butt on it. Now there's a bit of tying in this one. This is not one of these simple, quick little flies. So just bear with me for absolutely Kieran, yeah, he's an absolute gentleman. Yeah, known Jimmy a long time. We actually did our app guys exams together the same day. We helped each other out a bit, and it was very enjoyable. It made the whole experience even more enjoyable doing it with Jimmy. So a little bit of 0.10 mono here. Goes in for the rib, secured and well, so when we actually get to the body and using that rib that we don't pull it out. Okay, a little bit of that's great to hear, Adele, brilliant. A little bit of copper wire or copper flat tinsel here. Now if you don't have the copper, I'm using sulky tinsel here. If you don't have it, you can use a little bit of gold or a little bit of copper mylar, something, but very fine, and that goes in there too. Make sure that's sitting on top of the hook. Okay. We're then going to take 2 strands. This is ostrich hair. Okay. So this is dyed olive ostrich hair. We've loads of this in our shop. It's very fine ostrich hair, brilliant for doing dries and river nymphs and stuff like that. I'm using a lot of it over the last couple of seasons. You'll see it in our shop, but it comes in a ton of colours there. And you're going to take 2 strands of ostrich hair. And we're going to tie that in there for the body. And then bring all that down. And say just leaving a small little pearl butt exposed. Then start taking your ostrich hair up the body. And you can see there's little barbs on that ostrich hair. Sit up quite nice. And when that's wet, it's just, yeah, you got to see it. It's quite short as well, so it just takes it. Take your time with it. Once we get a bit shorter, finger on top, catch them underneath, and get it up to about there. Stopping a good bit short of the eye hook for the moment. It is John Shaw, yeah. It is great stuff, yeah. I've been using a lot of it this year for nymphs and stuff as well, and yeah, having great success with it. Now take your copper, and that goes straight up the back of the fly. Okay, giving you a small little copper. You see a small little copper back on it. Take that away. Make sure that's well secured in before we move on. Take your rib, and now just bring your clear mono rib up over that. Don't worry if you trap a couple of hackles, a little bit of those barbs down off the ostrich hair or whatever. That's okay. Take away your waist. Okay, next part is a bit of bronze mallard. Take a bit of bronze mallard, and you're going to put 3 or 4 little fibres down each side. Get them on the side of the fly. That's not working for me. Just the other way to try to cut that there. Take your time again. That'll be okay. Same on the other side. I just find that easier if I moisten them just in my mouth just before I tie them in. That they're a little bit easier to manage. Okay, perfect. You can see the way they're both down either side. Well, they will be down either side now in a minute. Of that little fly. Okay, next you're going to take is a little ginger cock hackle. And we're going to take that and tie that in there. So you can see we left quite a decent gap at the head of this fly at the beginning. Take our little cock hackle and create a shoulder hackle there. Like so. Wiggle your thread through it, make sure it's all tied in well and secure. Another couple of turns, make sure it's in place. Everything's where it needs to be. Still leave yourself a little bit of room, don't, we're not finished the fly yet. Let's turn around quite nice now. You can see it there, I hope you can all see that one. Come on, Eugene. Now, the final little piece of this cracking little wet fly is a CDC front hackle. Okay, so we've got a CDC feather here. I've always explained there's a couple of different ways to put on CDC. It depends on the finish you want on it. You've seen me all before use bull clips and different things like that and spin the thread. For this particular fly, I don't want to bulk it up at the head. I just want a little CDC hackle to sit in front of that. cock hackle. So I just exposed the tip, tied in. Again, can be tedious work because it's quite fragile there for a moment. Like, get a couple of turns on and get the thread on it. A couple of turns just up there at the head of that fly. It's not a dry fly, it is a wet fly. It's a pupae, sedge pupae, so it's meant to swim kind of high in the water, but those, between the dry hackle and the CDC, it will trap some nice bubbles. It'll make the fly look very realistic, and it is a super fish catcher. No name to it, just catch all of those back and make sure that fly is cloaked in the CDC. Once you expose your eye, a couple of turns up there to get it all trapped back. Beautiful. And anyone that's into their evening fishing for sedges and stuff like that, when the light goes down and you can't see that dry fly anymore, you take that thing there, turn around and start swinging it, and I tell you one thing, you will start catching fish, mark my words. And that's it. Anyhow, it was a little bit too long, though. CDC plum, the CDC feather's a little bit too long, you can give it a little bit of pluck off. That there is an absolute cracking wet fly. Fantastic wet fly fishing for that evening rise. I fished during the thanks Tim, good to have you on there. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow, Tim, if you want to watch it again. But that's an absolute belter, lads. I'll tell you one thing now. That's one you're gonna have to fish it to believe it. And that's summer's evening. I fish it during the day as well, like, don't get me wrong, but that summer's evening when the light goes down, or even before, thanks John, even before the rise comes on fully, like, just swinging it down across root fields, it's just amazing the fish will take for you. Really, really fantastic wet fly pattern. And thanks, Dennis, appreciate it. And I hope he's all enjoyed it. And that's it. That's a wrap tonight, folks, from me, Peter Driver, here in Pescari Fly. Great having you all on with us. Thank you so much. Thanks, Norman. Thanks, Graham. Great having so many people on and interacting with us. It's I enjoy it. I do look forward to every Saturday night. We are live here every Saturday night. Thanks, Sorka. We're live here every Saturday night from now to March, doing different themes every night. So check in with us. Keep an eye on our Facebook page. Thank you for all your continued support. Thanks, Bernard. Thank you for all your continued support. And if you need any fishing gear or fly tying gear, please check out www.pescarifly.com, or give us a shout here if you need any advice, tips, or anything at all. We're always on the other end of the phone here. Glad to help out. Thanks a million, JJ. Thanks, Michael and John. Bernard, yep, no problem. Robbie, thanks a million. So I hope you all really enjoyed it. Best of luck to everybody in AWOL tomorrow. See us all there bright and early. Let's hope we all get a couple of fish and have a chat, and it'll be just great to meet up, to be quite honest. So just thanks Dave Donovan for tonight. Thanks to Jason Corcoran for the use of his water for a show. Thanks to Mr. Jimmy Tyrrell. By the way, forgot. Oh, hi Josh Walker's on there as well. Thanks, Brian. Deirdre Delaney won the prize. Well done, Dee. Dee was at one of our master classes this year in the Blackwater as well. So well done, Dee. I will get those gloves and stickers off to you. Now I'll go get my gear ready. Absolutely, Dennis. Yeah, I'll go and get the gear ready now and get the car loaded and be ready to have it facing out the road tomorrow. Looking forward to tomorrow now. Really looking forward to a bit of crackdown in Ed Mars tomorrow with the AWOL Winter League. I'll let you all know next week how we get on, how bad it is and stuff like that. But Deirdre, I'll get that prize out to you Monday morning. So brilliant. Look at folks, have a great Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great week. And I will see you all next Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. live right here again with another great show, and I hope you all can join us. Good night, everybody.